The Red Bull Rant is a free-flowing conversation about soccer that may include adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, this is Zach Wasink, and you are listening to the Red Bull Rant.
Welcome to the Red Bull Rant. I'm Mean Jason Ipico.
I'm Patrick McDonald. Oh!
And I'm the Macho Man Truman Savage, and this is episode 48. Yes, no, yes, yes, no, no.
So welcome to the show following the 3-3 draw in Portland. With us tonight is arguably the biggest name in Red Bull media. He writes for Soccer by Ives, EmpireSoccer.com, and he's also one of the hosts of Seeing Red, Dave Martinez. Welcome back to the show.
What's going on, fellas? How long did it take you to get that intro together, by the way?
Seconds. We're magical.
Yeah,
I really like the fact that Pat
this.
got to play. Pat was Paul Bearer there. Oh yes!
Oh, my Undertaker! Absolutely.
Oh,
I had to do a little
That's-
tribute to the man.
Absolutely, you have to. You have to. Rest in peace, Paul Bearer.
Exactly.
I guess that
right.
being buried in cement case finally got to him. It's a shame.
Yeah, I guess so. All those buried alive matches, and one in a lifetime has to just go the wrong way. Oh man, it's so foul. That's so foul. Poor guy.
So,
All right.
alrighty. We want to dive right into
Yeah, I'm gonna go first.
All right.
Quick, yeah.
Dynamite planning.
Quick
You're on
question.
triple.
Quick question before we get into the Red Bull stuff. How long does it till you get season tickets for the Cosmos, Dave?
Oh, but I'm bummed. You guys are the worst, man. If you're going to talk about the Cosmos, really, I'm really impressed with them. We could go that direction if you like, but
No.
I'm willing to stick to wrestling. I'm willing to stick to wrestling and Red Bulls for you guys for this podcast. But you just let me know, and I'll go on my own Cosmos rant.
No, sorry. I try to get the little poke in there. That's all.
Well, it's perfectly fine. I'm getting used to it from Red Bull fans. It's this is an ongoing poke that I get each and every week. It's nice. It's nice, really.
Alrighty, so why don't we, before we even look back to last game, why don't we start off with the most recent news to break today, that our big name, high-profile signing of the offseason, Juninho, has already gone down with an injury. How do we feel about that now that, with all the fanfare that followed this guy, that he's now not going to be playing in San Jose?
It's a rough start, man. It's a rough start, and the first thing I thought about was when it had happened. Throughout the preseason, right, you had the whole conceding goals early thing, and the minute the Portland match was done, it was like, all right, well, at least that didn't happen. Sure enough, another bug from last year shows up in these injuries again. And I'm not going to say these injuries because it is just Juninho, but it is a rather big one. They're going to be depending on him. Are you okay? I'll give you some NyQuil.
I'll definitely be taking some after this game. I'll definitely be taking some after this episode's over. I was surprised though. I was thinking away from the mic with that. I didn't surprised the guy got picked up, but sorry. Go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Hey, no, it's perfectly fine, man. I know exactly how you feel. But well, with Juninho, it's obviously going to be a big loss. It's bad enough that the Red Bulls had such a condensed preseason, more so than other teams, in my honest opinion. You got a new coach, a new style out there, new tactics, and now to have one of the biggest pieces that would be making the biggest impact on the team's gone. It's a big loss, and you have to wonder how they're going to recover. Now, obviously, along with the injury of Juninho, I reported that Johnny Steele is going to be stepping in his shoes, and that's going to mean a more defensive look against San Jose. And I think that's the smart thing to do. San Jose is going to be hungry. They didn't exactly set the world on fire last week, and you better believe that if Wando didn't score last week, he's going to be looking to do it this week. He's done it against the Red Bulls before, as Henri's noted. It'll be a more defensive look. It's going to be a tough loss. In the end, the way Petke made it sound was, let's keep him off of San Jose. He may not even travel with the team, and let him rest up for the season opener, because that is a game that I think Petke wants to truly emphasize this year.
All right, cool. And that's good stuff. Looking back to last week's game, obviously it was a very up and down affair. What can Red Bulls fans take away from the season opener? Is it any optimism, or is it, or is it pessimism? Is it more important that we scored 3 goals and looked dominant for a half, or is it bad that we looked terrible for another and blew the chance of 3 points?
Well, you look at it. You can look at it from both directions, and I think that's the fairest way to do it, because the world isn't falling down, and at the same time, New York isn't setting it on fire. So you look at the first half, right? There's so many positives that you could take out of it. The way they control the ball. Sure, fate had a hand in it, or if you want to just call Silvestri fate, then, well, there you go. I mean, the guy was just gifting goals like Santa Claus. So on that end, you had a good half. They pressed, they looked good. They moved forward, and they were playing in a style that Petke's been preaching, very free-flowing, people covering for each other. If Henri's going to be playing striker and he wants to move to the left, Espindola's going to fill that gap. If Cahill wants to drop back, then either Juninho or McCarty are going to push up front. It was really in unison. It was very nice to see. The second half, with that lead, 3-1, you want to protect it. 2-goal lead, really important to do, especially on the road. No one thought the Red Bulls would be up front by that much. And I think, and I can't believe I'm really in the minority here on this, but I think that Petke simply got out-coached in the second half. Caleb Porter was very smart. He put Valeri further up. He unleashed Nagby. He used his 2 fullbacks, kind of like Baca used to do, as basically 2 extra wingers, and was bombing Red Bull the entire second half. Yes, fitness came into account. Yes, New York wasn't quite ready as far as the fitness goes. But no matter what, you look at it, the young rookie coach, Mike Petke, didn't really have an answer for the shelling that he was taking. And it showed. So New York just stayed in the shell for the rest of the half, and they were lucky to get away with a point at the end of the day. That's striking to think after a 3-1 lead.
Now, do you think this is something Petke's going to learn from quickly, or do you think we're going to see more of the typical red rookie head coach, timid side that to be expected of a young coach?
Let me tell you something. There's nothing timid about Mike Petke. I was at practice today. I'm going to have a write-up on this tomorrow, because it really just stunned me. Over the past 3 years that I've been going to Red Bull practices under Hans Baca, I did not see a single tactical training. Now, what I'm saying by tactical training is the coaches physically going out there, pausing them, basically telling everybody, stand where you are, and let me show you exactly what you're doing wrong in the middle of play. He would pause play along with Robin Fraser and show everybody where they were and tell them where they should be, accommodating Roy Miller from going way too far to pushing him back a little bit and telling him that's where it's got to be. You want to find the holes for Thierry Henry. They were guiding each and every play and trying to teach them the system they were in. Under Baca, he basically was all about fitness. It was the first thing he said when he came here, right? When he came to New York was, we're going to kill him with fitness. We're going to kill him with fitness. And that's what he was all about. Go out there, play your 11v11. Let's see who looks best, and we'll put you out there against whichever team is coming this week, and may the best team win. With Petke, Fraser, they're taking a very hands-on approach. They're trying to accommodate their players, teach them a new tactic. And I saw a tactical practice today. It was, over the years, you kind of took for granted that they even existed. So I think Petke is trying to make an impression here. I think Petke, with his barking, with his leadership, with everything that he's giving and imparting to his team, I think that he's trying to make an impact for this year. I think he knows how precious this opportunity is, and there's no question about it. Just because I feel he got outcoached in the second half doesn't mean I think that he's going to be a failure this year. Quite the contrary. From what I've seen early on, I think that Petke's a very promising young coach. He's very driven, and if he could translate that passion into success on the pitch, man, he's better watch out.
Do you take any? No, I was just going to. Do you take anything out of the excuse of the mechanical issues with the plane as to how they played?
There's a little bit to it. I mean, if you think about it, I'll take Juninho for instance. You got Juninho, right? I got the chance to speak to him one-on-one at Media Day, and he imparted to me that after 20 years of playing the game, he never once played on turf. Never once in 20 years. So here you are, it's Friday at night, you're waiting 3-4 hours for your plane to take off. It doesn't. The team chooses to deboard and try again the next day. They did so, By the time they did, they took a connecting flight. I heard, from what I understand, they had to land in Minneapolis and then head over. And, you wind up getting there on Saturday, and there's no time to train on that pitch. So come Sunday, that's the only experience you have on artificial turf. So for a guy like Juninho, for instance, that's detrimental. Not even a little while to just get familiar with the pitch, not even a little while to just get familiar with the artificial stuff, with the fake stuff. It does affect your game. It really affected their planning, and it makes for a rush trip. I mean, think about how any one of us would feel about going to the West Coast for like a one-day business trip, or to go see in-laws for a day. Some kind of like terrible vacation trip that you're taking all the way to the West Coast for one particular assignment. Then you have to go back. You're just not going to be yourself. So as easy as east to west travel may be, it was still hard on this team. You have so many moving parts, so many new players, and you're just coming off of a shortened preseason. I do think it played a part, but is it something that they should be pointing at to blame? I mean, Petke says no, and I agree.
Okay, a couple things that kind of like what else about you reported today. Marcus Holgerson is apparently disgruntled, and it makes sense. He had a good season last year, and it's kind of weird that he got benched. Petke has said that the lineup is not set in stone. Do you think it's possible we're going to see Pierce move over to the left, since he is arguably one of the better left backs in the league, and Holgerson reasserts himself in the middle?
It's going to be a challenge in the middle between Holgerson, Pierce, and Olave right now, because in order for the left side to have any kind of means of competition, Roy Miller really has to mess up, and he hasn't so far under the Petke regime. As a matter of fact, Petke's been singing his praises. Could he have done better things against Portland? I think we could all agree he could have. But another thing that Miller does bring to the game is that he makes the best overlapping runs out of any fullback on the team. His defense may be a little suspect, and he's got to learn to track back a little bit better, but he brings a different dimension, and I think Petke values that, especially with the weakness that he has on the left-hand side. There's no Joel Impera this year, fellas. That left-hand side is totally it's a brand new beast. So, for now, I think Miller's got that spot locked up, and it's going to be a battle between the three, like you said, Holgerson, Olave, and Pierce in the middle. And, Holgerson has really been showing up at practice the last couple of days. Christian Dyer reported yesterday, and that gave me the incentive to take a look at him today, and he was excellent. I mean, he's playing really ferociously, very un-Holgerson-like, but very, very aggressive out there. You could sense that he's being pushed, and maybe that's what Petke's trying to do, is just bring out the aggression in him. Can he win his spot back? Yeah, possibly, but there's a glut of talent, you know what I mean? And Pierce, in order for Roy Miller to make room for Pierce on the left-hand side, number one, Pierce is going to have to be willing to do it. And in the past, he has said that he'd rather play center back at this stage in his career for whatever reason. And Miller's not really messing up right now, so there's really no reason to make that change. And if it does happen, it would be, again, Petke's all about competition. So right now he's got it at center back. He could have it at left back if that change were to happen. And at right back, it's neck and neck between Barklage and Kimura. It's a blessing of riches with so much talent that they have. But at the same point, you guys know, when you're talking about your back line, you need a little bit more uniformity. You need some continuity. And the Red Bulls aren't there yet. In my opinion, they're still in preseason mode on the back line.
And then the other thing you reported in that same piece was about Matt Castle being signed by the Philadelphia Union and essentially taking shots at the Red Bull organization. Is he at this point just being a little whiny bitch? I mean, in all seriousness.
Listen, Matt has every reason to go out and, every professional wants to do things their own way. Talking to Henri today, he basically said, you guys know I do not hold back. And he doesn't hold back. Whatever he feels, he'll let you know what he feels, and that's that. Most professionals, like a Kenny Cooper, won't say two bad words about anybody. So to me, it's kind of refreshing to see a player just go out there and just slam a team and say, hey, you guys screwed me heavy. And he did that. And I think the only reason he did that is because Baca is no longer in the league. I think that Castle has been, Castle and Cecier Hot, the both of them were kind of unceremoniously dumped by the team. If Hot were ever to make it back in the league, or if he had the opportunity or the outlet to do so, I think that he would echo Matt Castle's sentiments, because that was the ongoing narrative. It wasn't just the fans or Metro fanatic that was guiding that. There was a good feeling within the team about that as well. Remember that before the season even started, Petke was saying, the standout, the guy that's going to catch you all by surprise this year is going to be Castle. the guy's great. You know, he's got a lot of skill. He's going to do really well. You guys are going to be very proud of him. And lo and behold, you know, I think it was February, he gets, you know, unloaded by the team. So he does have a gripe. I love seeing that kind of drama. And now he's going to have to back up his words. I don't know so much about being a whiny little bitch. What I can say is that he has a year's worth of aggravation on his shoulders. He unleashed it, and he knows that Baca will most likely never be anywhere near an influential figure in his career ever again. So I think it was a calculated risk. He decided to do what he did. And I'm all for it, man. I think that MLS needs more characters like that just to go out there and say how they feel and, you know, make a couple of headlines.
Yeah.
I'm good with that stuff, man. You guys know I watch wrestling. I mean, like, I love the heels, you know? If the heel's going to come out and say something, man, I'm all over it. I love that stuff.
I'd rather him tell us if we could smell what Matt Castle's cooking. I mean, that'd
be. So what Pat's saying, he's right. He'd rather have 5 minutes of talk and no action, i.e. The Rock, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
and only show up like once every couple months, you know.
Yeah, just so many anti-Rock references. Let's see if The Rock takes out John Cena at WrestleMania, which I heavily I really doubt that, but whatever. Is what it is. Is what it is.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
No, definitely.
So looking forward is probably the worst words I can use, but looking forward to the San Jose game. What do you think? I mean, I think it's going to be really hard to get a positive result out of it. But what do you think could be the best positive thing, even if they lose? Like, what's the best thing that you'd want to see out of this game?
Unity, and just an understanding on the field. As encouraging as the first half was, and it was encouraging. Like they looked very good. There's certain aspects that, you know, Petke's a defensive guy. I mean, he was a center back his entire career. I would like to see a little bit more, a little more concentration on the back line. You know, it looked. If you caught it at any point like a straight line, please point it out to me, screen cap it, and send it my way, because I didn't see a straight line in the back ever. It looked like they were really discombobulated. They were being drawn out continuously. I understand Olave's got some speed. I understand that he's a beast and he kind of runs over people. I get it, but you got to play as a unit when you're on that back line. I didn't see that. In the midfield, the same deal. There was a lot of freedom, but at times I think the freedom was a bit much. I think there could have been a bit more direction out there. What I saw in practice today, from a tactical standpoint, what they were trying to preach to these players, I think the coaching staff may have felt the same way. They may have felt, well, you know, we unleashed the team a little too much. Let's give them a little more direction and let them know where they're going to be. So if there is going to be a loss, which I don't necessarily think is going to happen just because Juninho is not there, if there is going to be a loss, I would look at that. I would want to see the team be a little bit more compact, a little more organized, a little bit more unified than they were in the first game. They looked good again attacking it at points, but I think it was a little sloppy Joe in the back, and that's going to come and hurt them, especially against, you know, Salinas, Wando. You got some players there that are pretty damn scary. Facito. These are tough players, and New York is going to have to really, you know, batten down the hatches and play a concentrated style in order to stop them.
Yeah, and you imagine they got to be pretty pissed off after the way their season started at home. So there's no way they're gonna want to drop 2 at home to start the season.
No, absolutely not. They're gonna be looking to make a statement, and you know, Wando has made statements against the Red Bulls in the past. One of the enduring images that I'll always remember of the Henry era is Wondolowski pointing his finger at Henry's face while he was on the floor after that little infraction they had, I think it was last year. You know, that tells the story to me. Like, San Jose isn't going to be pushed around by any team, and even if you're the Red Bulls and the big names that they have, they're not going to be pushed around. They're going to want to make a statement. They have a lot to live up to. They set a high bar for themselves last year, and the way they let it go in their first game, now, man, you know, New York is going to be prime for the picking. Again, San Jose has people that are going to be out. I understand that, but I think that New York, even with Juninho out, if they were to be a little more compact, if they make the right moves and play a more defensive style, which I fully expect, they could walk out with a point or two. I wouldn't be surprised if they garnered a win out there. And further, well, pissed off San Jose, I guess.
Have you heard any explanation about why New York decided to come back after the Portland match? I know I forget off the top of my head who the teams were, but I know two of the East Coast teams decided to stay out there on the West Coast and they had back-to-backs, just like New York does. But, I mean, you figure with the 3-hour time difference plus the flight that New York would rather stay out there for the week just because you were already acclimated. I mean, have you heard anything about why they decided to come back for the training and then fly back out for San Jose?
You know, I've heard inklings, and it kind of just goes back to what I originally theorized, which is this. You know, they've since mid-January, they've been in Florida, they've been in Arizona, they've been home in the past 6-7 weeks, all of, I think, 3 or 4 days in a row, and that was it. These players have families. These players are, they have other responsibilities. They need a little time at home as well, and I think that Petke is more in tune with that. So I think that he took the calculated risk of saying, all right, you know what? These guys just came out of a road trip. They're going into the season with another road trip after being away from their families for 6 weeks. Let me give them the creature comfort of coming back. It's going to kill us as far as travel goes. It'll be easier to stay on the West Coast, but these guys need to see their family. And at points, that's just as important to a player's psyche as going out there and training each and every week. It's been a long off season. If you're with the Red Bulls, it's been a roller coaster of an off season. It went from doom and gloom to elation to confusion by the end of it. So these players go through that emotional roller coaster right along with Petke and right along with the fans. So I just think that they just needed a little home cooking, be home with the family, hang out with their friends, and just feel normal for a week and get there, get themselves gathered, especially after what happened in Portland. I think that even though the decision was made prior to that result, I think it may have been the right one to do. Just let them come back and relax a little bit and get readjusted for the coming challenges ahead.
Just make sure that plane's ready to go this time, that's all.
Oh, dude, I made that joke to Henri, and he's like, oh, hopefully. He didn't seem to like the joke too much. But, yeah. He never likes my jokes.
Well, I think
what does he think of your impression?
I always wonder, there's we were just talking about that today in the boxes. We're waiting for some of the players and coaches. And Henri has a funny style to him. You'll talk to him, and he will either be absolutely chatty Cathy or turn on a dime and give you attitude and just shut you out. And sometimes I wonder if he ever hears my impersonations on Seeing Red, and I mean, God knows he probably doesn't listen to it. I know other players on the team, for a fact, do listen to the show, but I really do have to wonder if Henri ever has and taken offense to my absolutely horrendous French accent. Yeah, it's run through my mind a couple of times, but hopefully that's not the reason why I get an occasional dirty look. So I don't know. It's interesting to think about.
All right. We have our first question from the chat room for you.
Sure, what's up?
Spike the Boy asks, should Petke wait until our defense gels a bit before going for the 4-3-3 formation, as we may need more cover?
It's a good point, but it's not necessarily the 4-3-3 that he's introducing does have a bit more cover right in front of them. If you guys recall last year, even in the 4-4-2 when they were going diamond, Baca started to change that around a little bit and drop back McCarty into the middle of the center back duo, or he would get a partner right alongside McCarty and just go for what was infamously called the empty bucket. With Petke, what he's trying to do, I think, or what he will try to do moving forward, is to further pad the back line. So you'll have your back four, you're waiting for them to gain that chemistry, that unity, and while they're doing that, have two other players in front of them. Have a McCarty and a Steele, or a McCarty and an Alexander there, just to create a little extra padding, a little extra bite on the defensive end to kind of keep the Wandos of the world, the Salinas' of the world away from where they should be, which is the back. The back is so vulnerable, and if Petke could play, if McCarty and Alexander or Steele can play that kind of like extra dual center backs to the center backs that are already there, that should go a long way in helping them gel.
I'd like to mention that question came all the way from Scotland too.
Oh, nice. Long distance. It's a long distance call. Long distance request. That's right. Man, that radio guy voice is really sticking with me. It's everything that I do now. Hello, welcome everybody to Seeing Red, the New York Soccer Roundup. Oh boy, that doesn't stop. You guys need that for Red Bull Rant.
Welcome to the Red Bull Rant, everybody.
Welcome to the new and improved Red Bull Rant. We're totally serious here, folks, but we're going to add a couple of cowbells. Talking to Alexi Lawless this week. Oh, weren't.
Hey, Alexi, what are you?
Oh, boy. Radio guy.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy, indeed.
Yes,
well,
indeed.
I was gonna say, I think this has all been a good deep breath conversation that we like thinking about this game. But the one thing we could absolutely all thank ourselves is that we're not Chivas USA.
Oh my goodness! You know, I don't know what you guys can think about it, about what's going on over there. You look at the situation in New York, right? And people cry about, you know, the Red Bulls and how they need a bigger footprint in New York. About, look, we're approaching the home opener, and I haven't seen this famed. Once again, every year it's the same theme. The home opener is right around the corner. You're waiting for the famed. Oh, you've never seen a presence like Red Bull's going to give you this year in the city, and it's going to draw in all the fans, and it doesn't happen. So there are certain things about the Red Bulls that frustrate the average fan, and I get that. But when you're over there, and that alone has like sparked on the NY2 conversation, and I get that. But you're over there, LA's got all the glam. And then you have Chivas USA, which A, you know, Chivas, you're named after another team. B, it doesn't say Los Angeles or even California anywhere. How are people supposed to identify? And C, you're dealing specifically with Mexican fans or Latino fans, and you are assuming that they are all Chivas fans, which is ridiculous. Mexican fans are not all Chivas fans. They're not all going to flock to your team. Some Mexican fans despise Chivas. It's just the entirety of that whole situation drives me nuts. But I think the one saving grace is Chelis. That dude is going to be worth watching the entire year. I really hope his system works, just so, you know, it'll just bring further drama. I'm going to keep my eye on Chivas all year long, because that is going to be a fun franchise to watch. It really is.
I believe he said something like he'd rather lose 4-3 than win 1-0. I believe that's like an almost direct quote from him.
There was another quote that he had, something about I don't plan on being here long term, or something like that. Like I miss the hills and valleys and rivers of Mexico, or something to that effect. Like this is a pit stop, guys. I'm just trying to help you guys out. I'm doing you a favor. I would love to. One of the things I'd love to do once Red Bull play Chivas is possibly interview one of their supporters and find out why. Why are you supporting? Just why are you supporting this team? What have they given you that would have you latch yourself on to this brand? You know how bad Chivas is? At the Red Bulls Media Day, where they're doing, you know, the big Jersey Week thing, the Chivas USA billboard with the jersey, because they had one for each team, right? So the Chivas billboard, you got DC United, you have all these other ones. Chivas USA was spelled wrong. It was spelled wrong. Like, there's nothing right about that organization. They cannot catch a break. I have to speak. I would love to speak to somebody over there just to get their idea. Why do you support this team? Why?
I would kind of root for them if they were called Chives USA, because they'd make me hungry.
Dude,
Chives and Red Bull.
Name them goats. Name them, you know, the Los Angeles goats. It's not very endearing in American speak, but my goodness, it's much better than calling them Chivas USA. I mean, that's a local identity. People can say whatever they want about Red Bull being named after a can, about Red Bull playing in New Jersey, but at least A, they identify with the local community, and B, they're not named after another team. It doesn't seem. I really just don't get that. I really don't get it.
All right, so we got another question in the chat box for you. When Ryan Mayer is healthy, does he go right back in to start? Does the team look for another goalkeeper in the meantime?
No. First off, no and no. You have Santiago Castano in the back, who's going to be do or die your backup. And Ryan Mira, he showed so much promise last year that, under the Petke regime, they're not going to give up on the kid. They're going to let him rehab and do what he's got to do. I'll tell you, he was out there today and just basically trained. He's not taking any kind of live action, not doing anything of that sort. Just basically training and trying to get himself back into health. He's not going to be inserted back into the starting 11. It's been far too long. I'm all for. I mean, I made a big stink a couple of years ago with Greg Sutton and Boona Condul because I thought Boona rightfully was, at that time, the starting keeper. I made a big stink about it because Baca was just taking him off because he needed an excuse to take him off, and he believed in Sutton. I don't think that should happen if you've established yourself as a starter, but it's been long enough, and Mira's gone through 2 surgeries on his hip. He's going to have to earn his way back in and prove himself again. Hip surgeries are not exactly, a broken wrist. Especially if you're a keeper, you're going to be landing on those hips all day long. So he's going to have to prove himself all over again. And knowing Mira, knowing how he plays, I think he will. And I think with time he'll get his opportunities again.
Oh, best of luck to him. God.
Oh, man, it's tough. It's a tough injury, man. Hip. I mean, who gets hip injuries? Old people. and you watch them walk down the street and you're praying in weather conditions like this that they don't break the other one. Here's Ryan Mira, who will be forcefully throwing himself on the floor, trying to grab balls. I mean, it's another devastating injury waiting to happen. He'll just have to prove himself. That's all. He'll have to come back as he always does. And I really admire what he did last year. He was under fire like crazy, and he stood up to it. And to gain the respect of a Rafa Marquez, hey, a lot of people can't do that. And Rafa was a hard man to impress, just as Tim Ream. So. With Mira, man, he's got the goods. It's just he's got to be healthy again.
All right. One last question before you go. What is your favorite Paul Bearer moment?
Oh, man.
I know I'm putting you on the spot with that one, but
it's just a really tough one because with Paul Bearer, I mean, you're talking about a guy that I used to love. Undertaker was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. I mean, one of the absolute favorite wrestlers I ever had growing up. And I thought that Paul Bearer added to his gimmick so well. He was just, that voice, that iconic voice. It'll never, not to make a pun, but that is a voice that'll never die. Oh yes, my Undertaker with the urn, and I mean, he breathed life into a character. Think about the character that they have with the Undertaker, a guy that they call the Dead Man, who you hit and he sits back up, who can be buried alive and comes back to life. This is a larger than life, unimaginable, inconceivable character that really shouldn't be latched on to by anybody in their right minds, but. He was brought to life, and I think that part of that has to do with, just his creepy manager and Paul Bearer. I think Paul Bearer helped that gimmick along a lot. I mean, you have certain gimmicks that die a very quick and painful death. A person who's supposed to be half alive, half dead, that's a dumb gimmick. And Paul Bearer and The Undertaker made it happen. I think it was like a kind of tag team. So one individual moment, man, I really can't think of any. I kind of dig when he turned on The Undertaker and started managing Kane. That was a fun time for him. But in general, man, Paul Bearer was just awesome. He was the best. I'm really going to miss that guy. Just a great talent in wrestling, and those who didn't live through that era don't know what they were missing, man. He was truly unique. Rest in peace. Oh yes.
So now that he's dead, do you think he goes into the urn?
Dude, there was a meme, or a meme, or a meme, I don't know how to say it, but there was a picture of him holding the urn, right? And he's pointing at it. And on the top it says, urn says, you held me, now I hold you. I was like, oh, that is so wrong. He just died. Oh, man. I don't know. Do you guys know that he was actually a Paul Bearer in real life? Like, that was his career. He's kind of like a Red Bull. Yeah, he's like a Red Bull beat writer. You go over there and you do that as your job, but your real job is something else. He was a wrestling manager, but his real job was that he was actually a Paul Bearer. He says he tells, if you look up stories about him, there's actual interviews where he talks about people going to his funeral home, wherever it was, encountering Paul Bearer at the funeral home and just being shocked, like, is this a joke? Is there a hidden camera? Like, what are you doing here? And he was actually like a Paul Bearer in real life. That was his real gig. It's pretty crazy.
All right, Dave. Thanks for coming on for the nice 40-minute conversation we ended up having.
Yeah, I talk a lot, guys. If it was 40 minutes that you're looking to kill off, and I'm glad to help you do it.
Hey, we can ask for more, right? Come on.
I don't know how Mark puts up with me sometimes. I catch myself listening to the show and just hearing him like go on some, very eloquent rant on something or another, and then there I go just bombarding in the middle of it. So yeah, if you guys ever need somebody to just talk, I'm here.
Yeah, it works. Nobody wants to hear us talk anyway.
Not really.
Good luck. Stop being so serious. You guys are getting far too professional for me. I think I'm gonna have to lay off the show for a little while.
Just wait
I
till
don't
you hang
know,
up the phone.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go catch it on a stream immediately once I run
That's
back into the house. Yeah, man. Red Bull Rant used to be all cursy and stuff. Now you guys are all, oh, hey, we have Alexi Lawless on this week talking to Jimmy Conrad. Like, damn, what happened to you guys? You guys are, leading the street, man.
We don't have Conrad yet.
Oh no, but that'll happen.
Cincinnati-
That'll happen. I'm sure. Soon enough. Soon enough, that'll happen, and it'll be the serious Red Bull Rant. No longer rated R. More on the PG-13 scale, a la Vince McMahon, Linda McMahon. Ah, man, you guys are getting too serious for me.
Well, thank you
we'll
very
have to change
fucking much, Dave. So,
Have a good show, guys.
all right, dude.
All right, Dave. Take care.
Later.
Take care. You're welcome.
All right. Once again, thanks, Dave, for coming on. Before we open up the phone lines, real quick, Portland obviously 3-3 draw. Going over our predictions, Pat and Truman and Pete Urich had 1-1 draws. Zach and Craig had 2-2 draws, and I came out the victor with a 3-3 draw, calling it right. So open up the season on a perfect. What was that?
I said it's insane. I mean, like that's the craziest prediction you can do is 3-3, and it freaking happened. What the hell?
Hey, I did say that it was going to be a crazy game. The only part I didn't get right was Henry getting sent off and having the PK being the equalizer.
Yeah, that's true.
So that puts me at 3 points. Everybody else at 1 because everybody else got the draw right.
You will be
So
caught up.
San Jose. Yeah, there's no way I'm keeping up a streak like this. Anyway, San Jose coming up Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. Before we get to predictions, I gotta say, I really hate the 10 p.m. start on a Sunday fucking night. I mean, really? Can we not do this earlier?
Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't.
You did Portland at 7:30. You did Portland at 7:30. Why does San Jose have to be 10 o'clock? And it's a Sunday. It's a Sunday. What? The only is March Madness starting this weekend? Because that's the only reason I can see this happening.
But even that wouldn't matter because, well, I don't think it does. I think some of the smaller tournaments start. Well, unless ESPN is showing Big East tournament or something like that. That could very well be. I mean, let's face it. When it comes to ESPN, MLS is second rate. So.
All right. Anyway,
it's a West Coast game. Whatever.
Anyway, predictions. Pat, go ahead.
Like we brought up, San Jose is going to be playing pissed off because we all know that they're better than their opening loss. I think it was Truman who brought it up, and when we had Dave on, that it's just impossible to see them not, coming out angry and doing something about this. So, with another West Coast trip right off the bat and an angry San Jose and Wondolowski for that matter, I don't see the Red Bulls taking a win here. I'm going to go with a 2-0 loss. If there's anything that maybe the Rebels have going for them, and it just does reflect on Wondolowski, is that he had a very poor match this past weekend, and he's now saddled with that DP salary, and the only thing I could think to compare it to is his play for the international team. Like when that pressure is all on him, maybe he just won't play that well, and maybe that might be. I mean, I'm basing this off one game, so but it's that's the only thing I can think of that maybe could be playing the Rebels' favor. Otherwise, the cauldron known as that minor league stadium they stay in, and I think will be rocking. And I just don't see the Rebels pulling out a victory here.
So what's the score you got?
2-0 San Jose.
I think the Red Bulls are going to score. I think it's going to be nice to be back on a grass field and not awful turf, because it seemed like every pass in that midfield just died, and the players looked around like, what the hell happened? Like, why didn't that pass go where I wanted it to? Every single pass seemed like that. So I think being on the grass field is going to be nice. Juninho being out, it's going to hurt, but they played with him they played last year without him, and you still got Dax there. You still got Thierry Henry there. Espindola looked really good.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have some speed, on the ends in the midfield, like on the wings. They're going to score, but I don't think they're going to win. I think we just said it. San Jose is going to be pissed off, and they're not going to lose 2 straight at home. It's not happening. I'm really thinking this is going to be like a 3-1 loss. They'll get a goal. I can't see them getting shut out. I think they have a little bit too much offensive power to get shut out here. So 3-1, 3-2, right around there. But I'm gonna say 3-1.
All right. Well, Craig and Pete both gave us theirs. Craig said 3-1. Pete 2-0. Both losses. Zach hasn't gotten back to me yet, but I'm gonna guess he's gonna say loss too. I'm gonna go in a different direction. I'm not gonna say they're gonna win, but they're not gonna lose. I think it's gonna be a 2-2 draw. I know it seems kind of like a wild prediction again, since I went 3-3 last week. But like you said, San Jose's gonna be pissed off. But Steven Leinert's a little bit of a hothead, so I could see him getting in trouble easily in this match. Possibly somehow getting a red card. Don't think it'll actually happen, but I could see it happening. And if it does, that'll be the opportunity that New York needs to at least take a point on the road. So I'm going to go with the 2-2 draw, but at least somewhat optimistic about this game.
So what you're saying is you want Thierry Henry to just piss them off, because if there's something Henry does well, it's piss off opposing players.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Maybe a little pat on the back of the head will blow them up.
That's exactly what I want. All right, so now we're going to open up our phone lines. If you want to call us, 973-679-4541. Or on Skype, our username is Red Bull Rant, which is all one word. And while we're waiting for a call, I wanted to bring up our Red Bull Rant Fantasy League at fantasy.mlssoccer.com. If you are not part of it, you can still join. The league code is 2274-1368. I'm pretty sure one of us didn't sign up, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so let's just think how good I was with the pick'em last year. So,
all right. Well, before we get to standings, we actually got our first call. Area code 313. Welcome to the Red Bull Rant.
What's up?
Oh, 313. Detroit in the house.
Why can this team not hold a fucking lead to save his life?
You saw why. They sat back and they just played an entire second half just sitting back.
Oh, it's infuriating. And I said it last week. Pierce cannot be in the Central. He has to be out wide. I'm sick of it.
I'm with you.
Fucking Roy Miller can fuck off. How can I don't care if Barkley stayed out of position. Why can he not be out there instead of Roy Miller? I don't get that.
And if you look at the third goal, he wasn't covering his guy.
No.
He comes running back way too late to cover the guy who, hits Olave and it goes in. He wasn't even on the right side of the field.
No. Even on the first Olave, he just stopped. The whole back line just stops like, oh, look at that guy just run. Are we supposed to do anything here? No, let's just stand here and put our arms up. Fucking jackasses.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I would like to see Holgerson back in the lineup and Pierce out left. I just think, just from a simple fact, I mean, I'm not going to jump on the Roy Miller bashing bandwagon. I do think he misplayed that third goal, absolutely. But I think Keith Pierce has been named by so many people as one of the best left backs in the league. He has 30 plus caps at left back for the national team. It just, whether even if we want to just say Roy Miller is average, and that's pretty much the going rate left back in MLS. Still, when you have one of the best ones, if not the best one in MLS on your team, and he's not playing left back, it just doesn't make sense.
Nope. Spindle looked good though. There's a positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on my fantasy team too. Booyah!
He's a talented Luke Rogers.
And can ESPN get over the boner for Timbers Army? Can we put that to bed yet? Jesus Christ.
No, well, of course not. Don't get excited for that because that ain't happening.
God damn it,
Well, take into account that's.
They had 5 months, and their big thing was the salt girl from the whatever company that is. That's
Morton Salt.
That
What the fuck?
That was the stupidest tifo I've ever seen in my entire life.
I don't even get it.
Okay.
What does that even mean? Rain or shines at 75. What? Who cares? Get the fuck out of
All
here.
right, hold on. 2 things. One, the Timbers Army hard-on is not exclusive to ESPN. That's an MLS thing. MLS is using the Timbers Army as a marketing tool. So, of course, ESPN's going to focus on it because MLS that's what they're asking for. The TIFO, you have to remember that the team has been around since 1975 in one version or another. So, at least in that respect, it does make sense. But the Rain or Shine part, if you look back to last year, the South Ward actually did a Rain or Shine TIFO. Now, whether it's a direct ripoff, I don't know. But it does seem kind of ominous that the Red Bulls did it last year. The South Ward did it last year.
The thing that annoyed me the most, though, was when they said, Rain or Shine since 75. It's like, bullshit. None of you fuckers were fans 10 years ago when they were in the new NASL.
That's true.
You're just here when they became announced MLS within a couple years. So I'm like, that's bullshit. You're new age fans. Get out of here. Fuck out.
It's funny too because on the I think it was like the Timbers Facebook page or whatever. People were talking about the way the stadium used to be. There was a whole thing about someone wanted to smoke cigarettes and weren't allowed to. Blah blah blah. But they said back in the day there was about 100 members of Timbers Army. Before they came to MLS. So there you go.
I think even in their last year in the I think it was USL Pro at that point before they joined MLS. I think it was still like below 500 members in that Timbers Army. Just from what I remember seeing, but.
And Timber Joey sucks, by the way. That guy's a douche. I hope he cuts his arm off.
All I say is that we should take a page from the Morton Salt Girl TIFO, and the South Ward at the home opener should have a Doritos TIFO.
Yeah, I hear there's going to be Cool Ranch Dorito tacos now at Taco Bell. That's what we need, a big Cool Ranch Dorito logo.
All right, boys. I'll see you next week.
Bye,
Jimmy.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah.
All right. So back to the fantasy league. Right now, the top 3 are, and I'm going by the team names, not the owner. In third is FC Ironbound at 79 points. And second is Mazel Bugdev United at 81 points. And in first is 0-0 at 102.
What the hell?
They had 71 on the first day.
Oh my God.
So they had 31 on the second. That's impressive.
Yeah.
As for myself and Truman, I'm in 13th with 56 points, and Truman's in 4th at 73.
Yeah, and it was all about the second day. I had Mike McGee, I had Espindola, and Robbie Keane. And I didn't know Marcus Hanneman was. I didn't know he wasn't starting for the Seattle Sounders. So, no.
Gusperning, or however you say his name, was playing.
That was quickly rectified after Sunday.
All right,
I'm
so
just letting everybody get a head start before I
Before
on
you get
there.
in there and wreak some havoc there.
Yeah, before I like go to town.
all right, our number is 973-679-4541. Let's see. What else can we talk about?
We didn't actually give any of our own opinions about the Portland game.
Oh, that's true. I did kind of gloss over that because I was
Hmm.
trying to get through. But it's okay. So let's go over Portland then. Pat, what did you think of Portland?
Would you like
Well-
what you didn't like? Haha. I'm bringing
Hey,
it back.
like
baby.
yeah,
I'm bringing
like
that
I
fucking.
like. We're bringing it back.
No,
Um,
like and dislike, not
that's
That's right.
dislike.
let's
It's gotta be
keep it
dislike.
Poor grammar. Poor grammar. Come on. What did I like? I guess you got to go with Fabian Espindola. I mean, come on. How do you not like that guy? He was awesome out there. He if if he can keep doing that. I mean, yes, he did benefit from 2 horrendous defensive errors by Sylvester, but he's got to be your like of the game, and if he keeps that up all season, which is obviously a lot to ask, we're going to be going Kenny who. So that's definitely my like. Do you guys want to do your likes, or should I just go right into my dislike?
Do dislike. Go ahead.
All right, my dislike would have to be. Yeah. It's funny because I had one on Sunday. Now I can't really remember it.
We'll take your pick. There's so much.
That's true. There is a lot to talk about or to dislike. I'm just gonna pick on the Portland fans and dislike their tifo. It's stupid.
Maybe they're just now. Of course, this is a reference that only I will get out of the 3 of us. But maybe they're big Jawbreaker fans. Maybe they really like the band Jawbreaker. And let me tell you, I know you guys don't know what I'm talking about, but one of the Seattle Sounders supporters groups, what is that, Gorilla FC? Man, they love that comment that I posted on Twitter. They're all about it. Apparently, the Sounders fans get it, but anyway, that's a joke. I think only I will get. My like is definitely. I'm gonna just call him Fabio Espindola because he's Fabu. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, he did capitalize on 2 mistakes, but you know what? He capitalized on 2 mistakes, and that's what you want to see. He was fast. He was taking shots. He's on my fantasy team, loving the guy. And my dislike, I mentioned it before, was how the entire center of the field, they couldn't get a pass off to save their lives. I mean, they really couldn't get any passes off the entire game for the most part. Mm-hmm. But man, those passes in the middle of the field, every single one. I really need to see the charts because I think every pass was intercepted. Every single one. They were god awful.
Let's see. I'm gonna start my dislike, and I'm gonna make it the field turf at Portland because balls either died or they just went too far. I mean, we had this discussion before about the Gold Cup and the World Cup qualifying stadiums about the Pacific Northwest because of Seattle too. I really don't understand how these teams can't have grass fields. I mean, they do it in London. Why the hell can't they do it here?
That's a good point.
It's fucking ridiculous. In the end.
I don't get it. And really,
yes.
you're taking yourself away from hosting, FIFA regulated games.
Yeah. Back in my brief stint of writing for Global Football Today, I wrote something about the turf issue, and I'm basically like, all right, they like claim because it rains. It rains in the Pacific Northwest. They can't have grass fields. Just shut up. I mean, the only ones who have maybe a little bit of a leg to stand on is Seattle because they share the stadium with the football field, and we all saw how that looked at Giant Stadium a couple years ago when they put the trays of grass out there and 3 teams just tore it to shit. But
Vancouver too.
What's that?
Vancouver also, they share with the Canadian football team.
Oh, that's right. And then so them too. But the fact of the matter is, like, everyone's like, oh well, it rains. Well, I basically pointed out, like, well, it ain't exactly a tropical paradise where it's a constant dry season in England. And then somebody was like, well, there's actually more average rain per year in the Pacific Northwest. And I just, like, wanted to punch them, which I generally want to punch most of my critics. I just want to throw that out there. But, and then I, like, just decided to look it up. And lo and behold, New York City gets more average rainfall per year than the Pacific Northwest. So it's just like they don't have a leg to stand on. It's just stop whining, get some grass. It's a game that should be played on grass. And yeah, that's my totally hijacking Jay's dislike.
That's okay. I'm perfectly fine with that. And actually, in our chat room, and the only reason I know his name is because of the name, John Harris from Scotland actually says, it rains here about 364 days of the year. We have fucking grass in our stadiums. So there you go.
Yeah, it's stupid. Portland, yeah, Seattle will let Seattle slide a little bit because of the Seahawks and they're kind of renters there. But for fuck's sakes, Portland, you redid the entire stadium. You kicked the baseball team out, which ended up moving to like Rancho Cucamonga in California. You know, you had one of the oldest minor league teams, baseball teams. You kicked them out. You got rid of them. You redid the whole thing and you say, you know what? Fuck it, turf. It makes no sense.
I guess we shouldn't forget that Vancouver shares it with a CFL team, which,
they don't
as we all know, is not real football.
Right. They're probably the Rough Riders, like every other team in Canada is called the Rough Riders.
The
Vancouver
Mounties.
Rough Riders, British Columbia Rough Riders.
Which city do the Mounties play in? Is there a Mounties?
No, there is the Mountie.
The Mounties.
I am the Mountie. See, where's Dave Martinez? He would get that Mountie joke too. I am the Mountie.
I remember the Mountie, and then there was a second Mountie, and they were the Mounties.
Yep.
All right, so my like of the match, since we kind of
Sidetracked?
Yes, which
Never.
we haven't really done that in a
Doesn't
while.
matter
But anyway,
what your like is. I'm sorry. I'm done.
yeah. Honestly, it probably really doesn't. But anyway, my like, I'm going to go a little different, is Pecky's sweater during the first half, classing up a little bit. Something we didn't see a lot. Well, I mean, Baca had a suit on, but for some reason I like the sweater he's wearing. I don't know why. Just makes me feel like I should get a wig. What?
Do we have the brand of the sweater and the style that we can tweet the link? Like, if you would like to look like my Becky, go to this website and buy it for $29.95.
I almost want to do trim a suggestion. Get the sweater, get the wig, dress up as Pecky for the home opener.
Why not?
The entire South are sweater vests. Or no, that wasn't a sweater vest.
They should.
I'm down.
Only if they're like
Argyle.
Argyle.
The whole Southwest should do it.
Got to be Argyle. But if you notice in the second half, Pecky went old school Jose Mourinho jacket.
There you go.
Yes, he did.
Of course, I'm the one non-supporter on the show is making some suggestions for the South Ward.
You do that now.
I should do.
I feel the need. I know since we're probably coming to the close here, I need to just get this off my chest. Manchester United fans, fucking stop whining about the red card. Holy Christ, I can't take it anymore. Stop crying. It was a red. The guy launches himself up with the foot. The ref sees it from a distance. He made a judgment call. Get over it. You don't have to win every single title every year. Am I right or am I right? Come on. I know you guys are with me on that.
I was just going to say, I mean, in terms of European soccer to begin with anyway, like, come on, Euro snobs, start rooting for your MLS teams. They're all racist over there. Anyway, except John Harris. He's cool.
And hey, you know what? If all those United fans are so whiny about the refs, you want our MLS refs? We'll trade. I will straight trade you.
Fuck yeah.
All the refs you guys get in the Champions League and the Premier League, and you can have our MLS refs. Enjoy. That's it.
Honestly, Honestly, I don't necessarily think the red card was warranted, but at the same time, the Manchester fans have to realize they've probably gotten a shit ton of calls like that as it is. So there
Of
really is
course
no
they
need for them
did.
to whine about it.
Of course.
I mean,
How many-
every team goes through that. Every team gets the up and downs, and it evens out eventually. So there's no need in complaining about it.
And we're not talking about a team who hasn't won a championship in like 50 years, for crying out loud.
The Glazers are running our team to the ground. Oh, we're running away with the Premier, but they're terrible owners.
They're the worst.
Were there any Americans playing in that game?
No.
Then I don't give a fuck.
Unless you
I
count
think-
Gus Johnson as playing as a commentator, then no.
I think 85-year-old Ryan Giggs played in that game, though. Right? Isn't he about 85, 86 at this point?
Something like that.
Something like that.
I think he started playing shortly after World War II. Earned a medal at the Battle of the Bulge.
We're going to have to confirm that
All right.
with one of our experts, how old he is.
I'll put it on Wikipedia
We'll have to
to
get-
make it true.
Well, we'll have to call the LA Sports Bureau about that. Or I'm sorry, no. Opta Stats, because they seem to be the ones to really have the soccer stat down. So, before we wrap up, one thing about feeds on iTunes. If you have the podcast app for your iOS device, apparently our feed has not been updated in that. Zach Wazing said that his hasn't been updated since the fall. We had another listener today basically tell us that he hasn't had the last few. I checked iTunes today. iTunes has all of the episodes, so you may have to go in and resync the feed. So I'm not sure what that is because I have an Android phone, but what I've seen is if you are using the podcast app, then you might have to refresh your feed with iTunes to make sure everything's okay. So just in case anybody's trying to use that app and has noticed that we haven't been updating on that for a while. Nothing we did.
Android wins again.
Meh. Yeah, no, I've had problems with like iTunes altogether once, like where they just like suddenly unsubscribe me. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I like that show. Why? So, back when I used to listen to
All
Secret,
right.
and I was like,
That Dave Martinez is smart. I'd like to write to him one day.
and then, I was like, hey, Dave, can I write for you? He's like, sure. And I was like,
Oh, jeez. I'm in the big time now.
No, boy, I can't wait to do this. And I was like, motherfucker, making me work.
I think like Dave had like a pint of schnapps. He's like, who did I hire yesterday? Ah, shit.
Oh, and he does this X-rated show. Oh man, I'm really screwed.
Huh?
Ugh. Apparently, my joke didn't make it. Anyway, anyway, to wrap up, you can visit our website at redbullrant.wordpress.com, and if you go there, actually, you notice that we've redesigned our front page.
It's funky.
We have a
I
little
like it.
featured, yeah, we have a little featured slider up on the front now. Some nice images for each of the posts. I particularly like the one I picked out for the morning after hangover column that Pat started.
I too like that.
You can email us during the week with your thoughts about the games at redbullrant@gmail.com. You can call us at 973. Oh, damn it. I almost forgot about that. It's a good thing I was reading. Okay. We had a phone call this week, and if it wasn't for me reading that, I would have forgot about it.
You knucklehead.
Yes. Hey, at least I remember it, okay? We had a phone call from a good friend, Raphael, from Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Hey guys, Raphael from Pembroke Pines, and Timber just tied it 3-3. Seems to me after this preseason that really just was meaningless. The Red Bulls are back to the old ways with the multiple personality disorder. First half, we're a world-class team. We're scoring goals. We are having our way with them. Second half, we decided, hey, let's go out for a beer and a hot dog. Don't worry, let the kids play. And that's exactly how he did it. We didn't change anyone, but we played like kids. And they came back to score 3-3. Now, the only person that seems to continue to be what they were last year is Miller, who for whatever reason is still on the team. When Nagby shot that shot that eventually became the third goal, bounced off Robles, and Miller went for it and decided to try to do his karate kick move on it, and went stumbling and bumbling right past Valencia, who just shot it and bounced off Olave, who's another one. And he let Nagby go right by him, and Nagby got a goal, and then he just let this what amounted to an own goal go in. But you know what? We'll give Olave some time to get used to it. Miller, on the other hand, couldn't he just have packed his bags with Marquez and just went south for the winter? I mean, what does it take? Well, maybe next week we'll do better. Have a good night, guys.
You know, if you think about it, we mentioned it. 2 goals were scored off of turnovers, and if it wasn't for those, it could have been a lot uglier.
Oh yeah. And I will say one thing about what he said about Olave and Miller for that matter. I do think this defense is going to come around. I mean, I think they're going to take time to gel. It's kind of like Holgerson came in and sucked last year, and then eventually became the best defender on the back line. So I think they're going to gel. And when it comes to Miller, the one difference between him and Marquez that I'll at least give the guy is I think he's trying, whereas I'm still not convinced Marquez ever gave a shit. Like, I think Miller gives a shit. I just think he's prone to the boneheaded mistake. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and that was a sweet karate kick. He was totally right on that. I mean, wow. He was going for the knockout, apparently.
Maybe we can get Miller to be our our the soccer equivalent of hockey's enforcer, and just have him take somebody out in the next game.
Yeah, it's win-win. He gets suspended. We don't see him for a while, and he takes an opponent out.
Yeah, maybe Lenhart, his big stupid head.
I'd rather go after Wondolowski because of him scoring goals, but that's just me.
I want to cut Lenhart's hair. It's ridiculous.
Lenhart's one of those players that unless he plays in your team, you absolutely hate him. So. You know what he is? He's the Steve Avery. I'm sorry. What is it? Steve. I can't remember his name right now. He is the Avery of
Sean Avery.
Sean, Avery. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. He is the Sean Avery of MLS. That's what he is.
Ugh, God.
Either way, he needs to be thrown in one of those WWE haircut matches. Get his haircut. Stupid.
Him and Fellaini.
Him and just Kyle Beckerman. Hair versus hair.
Oh, there you go.
And then I'll come in and just hit both of them with chairs and shave both their heads. Ha! I win.
All right, so to finish wrapping up, you can call us like Raphael did at 973-348-5329 or on Skype at Red. Yes, thank you, by the way. We forgot to say thanks. On Skype, Red Bull Rant, all one word. At Facebook, we're at facebook.com/Red Bull Rant. We're on Google+. On Twitter, the show's handle's at Red Bull Rant. Mine is at Dr. Stooge. Pat's at PMAC-D82. Truman's at The Truman. And you can subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher Radio. Stitcher's only audio at the moment. I don't think they do video. But subscribe to us there, or we have the RSS feeds up on our website. And if you listen to an iTunes, please leave us a rating and let us know what you think about the show. Do either of you have any last thing to say before we go?
Yeah, I got one thing. San Jose Earthquakes. You think you're good, you think you're tough, but let me tell you something. The Red Bulls are a lot stronger, yeah. The Red Bulls have the speed, oh yeah. And sure, our defense is a little shaky, but we can make up for it. So all I'm saying is, ooh yeah, win. That's it, I'm done.
I kind of feel like after that, I want Slim Jim to buy out the team. I don't know. I mean, I guess it could be like, San Jose, we gotta prepare for the Rebels coming to town. They will conquer you. They will pound you into the ground. Don't even think Steven Leonard can do anything. Oh!
Rest in peace.
And thus goes with all my WWE. What the hell? I didn't know you were gonna start the music.
Get us out of here. We're getting out of here.